Listeners, good evening. All our friends across the world. Karma in New York. Karma like what I call she name, eh? Our friend in Miami, those in London, those in Africa. Good morning, as the case. And of course, our friends here at 919. Good afternoon. To the management and staff of this lovely station, good evening also. Good afternoon, I should say, as we say. This evening with me, we have two auxiliary umpires. This show, as you know, as I say every time we start our program, this show is called Third Umpires. And the Third Umpires, we frame our analyses or we frame our discussion in using the cricket analogy. The batting side is usually the side in government, the side that is the ruling party or the government that is in office. And of course, the fielding side, of course, is the PNM. So we ask you to usually to comment on how the batting side batting or the fielding side bowling, right? Today we have one of our auxiliary umpires. He's usually with us here kind of often, but what we want to start doing is that Innovation Wednesday. So on Wednesday we will talk more innovation issues, and he is here today. He's an innovation expert. He will get a chance to introduce himself, and of course we have Simoya, our specialist in HR. So she's here with us. That's a nice smile, Simoya. But let's hear from you. Tell the public something.
Hi, good afternoon, listeners. I am Emerson John Charles. I am an ISO National Innovation Expert. I am the chair of the Innovation Association of Trinidad and Tobago and the chair of the National Merit Committee of Innovation Management at the Bureau of Standards. And I'm pleased to be here.
Right. So I know you will have a lot to unpack in our discussions today, and Simoya, of course. Well, you all know Simoya. Simoya is here every day with us. But over the last few weeks and yesterday in particular, we had a lot to talk about. We usually start with geopolitical issues that relates to the geopolitics. That is, in the last week we've been talking about the Prime Minister's statement on the Venezuela issue and how it impacts Trinidad and Tobago, not just our position in the Caribbean, but how it impacts on our stance and our positioning as it relates to Venezuela. And we will have also discussed a lot about other issues. Yesterday we delved a little bit on the issues with the journalist that was killed in Gaza and the Israel conflict, right? And well, from time to time we talk about what's happening in Russia all over the world and how they impact issues in Trinidad and Tobago, and how they will impact those issues in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course they will at some point in time or in some way, right? So yesterday when we closed, when it was about to close, remember what we were talking about, Simoya?
Yeah, we were talking about reforming in terms of our security. But the last point I made was about the food security and integrating the prison system. That was the last point.
Right, the prison system, because that is something Trinidad and Tobago should discuss. And you as an innovation expert, maybe you could chime in on that, because maybe we should start there this evening. Right? I find it's kind of hot today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what's happening with the AC. But what Simoya was saying essentially was that we talk all the time about the amount of people in prison, in Rayman or especially.
Otherwise.
Yes.
And I think there's over 2,000 people in Rayman alone, and that is a small place. you have schools, big schools that don't have so much people, right? So we were talking about, instead of just having people coming out for air for 2 hours for the day, afraid to pick up the soap, you know, just in prison doing nothing. I mean, we could have a system where we have them, like in most of the federal pens in the US, work, right? And if, of course, this is just my opinion, if, of course, they are found to be not guilty, because you have people on remand 5 and 6 and 7 years just killing time in prison, and you're paying $22,000 to take care of one of them every month.
Some of them is 10 and 15 years, especially if it's a murder charge.
Like Raji and all them guys and them, right? And you had them with nothing. Of course, they might find, the devil is finding things for idle hands to do. Put them on, get them work to do. Put them create work, and a lot of things you use today are were made in prisons all over the US and things. So if we could create an industry out of that, then of course we could have some kind of productivity there also. And if, let's say for instance, a man finishes terms, he went to court, he won his matter, then you could pay him for the time he was in prison. Right? You would be able to do that because he would have worked. But I'm thinking, long time you say, a man get 10 years with hard labor. What is hard labor? Picking up soap?
I always wondered in truth.
What exactly is he hard labor?
Get something to do, and you can make prison pay for itself. Right? So when we talk about this millions of dollars we spend, because most of it is spent on things like justice on time and transportation and all that kind of thing. I mean, put court by the prison or in the prison, speed up the process, but have these people working also, you know, and have innovative ideas, create industries where they could do things and at the same time serve the time and, you know, come out and
give
something.
them a skill for life. A lot of people
Exactly.
come out and they don't have anything.
So you wouldn't have the instances of them trying to go back in prison because you come out with a skill and you can do something, you understand what is to be productive, you want to earn, you know, you probably might get a portion of that money when you come out too, you know, that kind of thing. What do you think?
I have a bit of a contrarian view because, you know, the history of that inmate labor in America is linked to slave labor.
Well,
right?
I was going to say something else, but yeah, go ahead.
And when you hear sometimes they pay those guys 10 cents an hour and 20 cents an hour, the motivation now is, oh, let's increase the size of this inmate labor force to compete. So it's an incentive to have such a large prison population.
Not only
so that's a risk.
It's an incentive to find reasons to put people in prison.
Which is what happens in America.
Which is what some would say, like, we look at the plea bargaining system and, you know, all that kind of thing. But I mean, we still have to look at ways to, because this is costing us significantly in Trinidad and Tobago. If you say $22,000 to take care of one
person a month.
Think about how much money you spend.
But when I speak to people who have been previously incarcerated, whether it's as a remand or as a full prisoner, I wonder where that $22,000 a month really goes, because the conditions that they live under, where if you're inside you have to defecate in a bucket and things like that. Who really profits from that $22,000?
When if you divide the overall recurrent expenditure for the prison by the amount of prisoners inside there, you'll get that $22,000 and probably more. Because first you have to pay prison officers.
Right.
Then you have to pay pay for ration. Then you have to pay for all the security to get them to and from prison. Then you have to pay, you know, a whole lot of other things that you have to take care of as a prison service. It could well be that, and probably even more. Right? And that is what, to me, is unfortunate, because we're not doing anything to recover that. In no way, the money they're working for don't only have to go to pay for the stay inside there, but it could pay for the person who you do damage to. It could pay for the family who you would have killed, or you know, that kind of thing. So yes, it is something that I think Trinidad and Tobago could explore, right? And I'm sure there are many, many ways to do that and do it safely.
Yes.
Right? As I say, we always say here, rather reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
You could just go and study what them fellas doing across there, and that wouldn't be too hard to do.
But when I think of prisons too, I see like in the Nordic countries like Norway and Sweden,
Well,
their prison system is on a whole other level. They may spend the same 22,000, but it's not just to keep people just locked up. But you know, they give them, sometimes they're staying in very comfortable homes.
Like
they're
police
training
station
them.
across the road.
You know.
Disclose
So,
that's
so
it,
if there was that level of training and care, I could understand if it was 22,000. But don't tell me it's 10 men in a small space, smaller than here, where their rations are bread and cheese, and they all have to, if it's nighttime, they have to go off in a bucket. That could never be $22,000 a person.
Well, I don't know. I mean, somebody might have to explain that at some time, but a prison officer was the secretary of the Prison Officer Association. I was listening to a clip he did on TikTok some days ago, and it was really, it's not that we didn't know that, because we hear people like Ramesh Durasharan and them guys, and them say, come out of prison and cry and say how bad it is inside it. But, I mean, one of the things is the criminal justice system. If it's not corrupt, they had to fix it.
Yeah.
Because that system in particular reeks of the condition or the catalyst for what is taking place.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, and that to me is really unbecoming.
I get first-hand information because I have besides being an innovation guy, I have a fitness venture, and I deal with actress youth and things like that in the community.
I calling here. What you take it and hear what you have to say?
Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon to the panel and good afternoon to your listeners. You know, one of you all would say somebody had to break it down and explain it for you, but I think Dr. Rowley explained it very well. They are providing, the state has provided opportunities for the rich and the wealthy in hope that they will provide opportunities for the poor. So this amount of money that we continue to pay every month to house prisoners, it is not now on this station that some of us have been talking about. Allow the prisoners to start. We have school feeding programs. They could help with that. They have themselves to feed. It has so much direction we could go into to get betterment or value for the money that we keep spending in this country. But as I say, Dr. Rowley coined it the best. He had the perfect phrase, which is they have no issue in providing opportunities for the rich and wealthy in hope that they will assist the poor to come out of poverty. Not provide opportunities for the poor and the underprivileged, you know, and assist them out of poverty, you know, but provide more opportunities for the rich and wealthy. And I really trying to understand if these are the conditions that people are living under in the prison, how come it amounts to all this money? How come?
Yeah, and that's the question our fellow umpire would have been asking. And that to me is, I mean, I agree with the caller. What he's saying essentially is that to try to understand, to try to rationalize the kind of money you're spending in prison and what's going on. And nobody's seen it fit to even do anything to mitigate that. I mean, if you hear government come, government go, they all do the same thing and say the same thing. It's like they don't have a clue. And you say all the time, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Right? You could just go, you ain't have to go far to look to find out what's going on, to see how they do it in other countries. Right? We talk about Russia and that kind of thing, but I'm sure the prisons in Russia are not like here. Yeah. Right?
I mean, if we do the
Good
maths...
evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Hey, guys. I mean, panel, good afternoon. How you all going?
Good afternoon.
Good. All right, cool. Happy to hear you all locked on and listening. I'll be a little brief. Now, the idea of bringing prisoners into regenerating and expanding and developing the agricultural sector, I can't say I agree with that at all. There could be other areas we could apply them at, whether it's just like road maintenance, right? Maintenance of the minor and major roads in society, cutting the bush, keeping things neat, simple things like that. And I feel a little way about, them coming into agriculture, like growing the food we would consume and thing. Just my humble opinion, but I think, and as I listen, we should probably be focusing on the starting point. For example, if you all have a child, a son or a daughter, and they in detention for acting up in school or they get suspended, it feels like the conversation we having is like not seeing how we could prevent prisoners. It sounds like we're saying, well, we have prisoners, because it could lead people to think that, is an ongoing cycle of just prisoners, but that shouldn't really be a sector of our society. So, how we could like reduce people from committing crimes from the start so they don't end up prisoners. So, that's my contribution there. Continue to listen and I may call back in.
Okay, thank you, caller. Well, I know this caller probably listens to us, but every day we talk different issues, and we talk. The fact is that we have overcrowding prisons, and the fact is also that the government pay X amount of money to take care of them every month, and the fact is also that all the things we are talking about here have not been done or explored as yet. And if they have, not in any productive way. So, but we talk all the time about ways that the government could deal with, from the education system down, from the social security system down, to probably prevent these kind of things. And it includes addressing the system, and we have an innovation expert here, so he could talk about that too. It includes addressing the system from the standpoint of a digitized system where everybody is on a grid, and everybody is, because all of us here, we know this, that I say this all the time. You have countries with companies, and those companies have more people in it than we have citizens in Trinidad and Tobago, and they have what is called HRIS systems. And those systems, they know everything from a dashboard, they know everything about you. They could contact you, they know where you are, they know what you're doing, not where you eat yesterday, but they know why you didn't come to work yet. They know everything. So why we can adopt systems like that, that would, and this is if you're dealing with it from the ground up, the situation of preventing crime. If we have systems like that, whether DNA or fingerprint or whatever, from birth, then it will be difficult to even commit crime more than once, in my opinion. Right? So then the education system we always say here is woefully bad. It's configured wrong. They don't really analyze how students learn, to put them in schools, or to put them in categories to teach them the way to learn, that kind of thing. So you have children coming out who we call quote-unquote dunce, who are not really dunce. It's just that they learn differently.
That's right.
And all those things are problems, but those things are part of the physical infrastructure that has to change. And therefore, but the fact is, we have a prison system, and this is woefully bad. I don't care who you want to blame for it, whether you want to blame the criminal justice system, the government, whatever. The fact is, we have a problem in the prison system.
I think just before Emerson, just before you start, I think the severity of how bad the prison system is more than enough to prevent people from going in there in the first place.
Well, it's certainly preventing them.
But and that's what I'm saying. So why are we going to start talking about, the caller mentioned something about, preventative measures. People are aware of how bad the prison system is. You know what you have to do to get in there, yet still you're going in there. So what do we have to be concerned about when it comes to you paying for your time inside of there? Is what I am saying. But we have a large number of home invasions and all of these things that are affecting the public, and you want to tell me now about conditions? You should be aware about the conditions before you make those decisions to go in there, and that is my point about that. So now the prison system have to start figuring out how we are going to be getting the money back for having these people being maintained in here. It's not a hotel.
Well, the thing is, pros and cons with all of that, which was where we were
So
going.
we're going to go into that, but I just wanted to address
and
that part.
the pros is yes, it will pay for itself.
Yes.
But the cons is now you will have a very volatile public who might run the risk of crooked police officers, crooked law
Yes.
enforcement people wanting to facilitate that system, especially if it is privatized,
Yes, of course.
to put people in prison solely to make money.
Money.
For money.
Over them,
And-
right?
and
So
that is
that's
understood.
another thing that.
So that's where the
a system will
innovation
have
is going to
right?
help.
Yeah.
So let me hear
But
from
but
the
just to,
innovation
just to
man.
crunch some numbers, that figure you said of 22,000 persons, 2,000 a month per person. And I know I heard it in the news earlier on this week that there are over 3,000 prisoners. That's $66 million a month to almost 800 million TT a year. And I found that must be wrong. When I checked for 2023 to 2024, the national security budget allocation was almost $7 billion. So, I mean, we could take some of those millions of dollars and look at the preventative part of law enforcement and the prison population.
Preventative, but you see, you remember you still have the situation of the criminal justice system. You have a lot of things to
Yes,
fix, a lot
yes.
of layers of problems
Yeah.
to solve before you could reach
Reach
there.
to there.
But what we're talking about here is something that we could deal with. What we're talking about here is something that we could deal with, that could possibly dealt with at one level, right? And that I don't know. I mean, that might be something that you might want to explore. But as we say, it are pros and cons to it.
Yes.
And you know.
But if you ever speak to someone, especially younger persons like young adults, who have been to the prison system, I know I have a program where I deal with some people like that, and they try to low-key glorify it. As only when it it was so cool and it wasn't so bad.
Yeah,
But when you
Could
break
they
it
get
down
something, yeah.
and you try to have the brass tacks as to the environment that they were in, it really is pretty terrible. And
course it is.
this person is trying to chain up the other people. That is not so bad. Yeah, it was 15 of us in one cell. It wasn't so bad. So
Then when you see flat screen TVs, you are hearing these reports, flat screen TVs, man making phone call and all of these things. It makes the system appear not so bad as you said.
not so bad.
Well, the thing is, in truth and I mean, these people are human beings too.
Correct.
And the 2/3 of them in the prison, they're still in remand.
Yeah.
So
They're
so a
waiting.
man is innocent until proven guilty, right? So what the system we need to look at is a way we could maximize the return on our investment. Because if you say 66 million, that would be
month, yeah.
a month. That would be
800 million a year.
right, 800 million a year, right? And that's just recurrent expenditure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So it must have a way to address that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, as Samoya had said that, you know, you had said, sorry, we know that a large percentage of those prisoners, whether remand or otherwise,
Yeah.
they haven't performed academically in the primary and secondary school
Yes.
system, for which we know there are high dropout rates and high failure rates.
Right.
So if we could start to take some of that 800 million and improve our education system, and as well as hire more social workers to go into these homes, because you telling me there are whole subcultures where going to prison is cool and accepted and a rite of passage, something is wrong.
Again,
Alright,
it
now.
it look like it's
Alright,
part
now.
of, it's part of all kind. Let me take this call. I see a caller calling now. Good evening, caller.
Good evening. Good evening. Sorry for disturbing you anyhow.
Yeah.
That prison, the question of the prisoner, talk about prison reform. And it's not just rehabilitation and that kind of thing. You have to look, I think one has to consider also the question of security of the prison. I was listening today with respect to from the Prison Officers Association, where I think the General Secretary spoke about those security scanners and all these different things, jammers and whatnot, not working, not functioning. Most of those institutions are old institutions, right? Penal institution. You look at Carrera, they told you about Carrera, it's almost defunct. It's obsolete. It's not fit for housing prisoners. You look at Port of Spain.
That was like a dungeon.
Well, Port of Spain again is another disaster. That's an old institution. It's not fit for detaining prisoners or even rehabilitation. So the thing about it, you have to come up with a policy with respect to a penal policy for Trinidad and Tobago. And it means that you may have to build additional institutions because those old rundown institutions, right? You can't really, because you have stopping sale, like people stopping and sale and all that kind of thing. In 2025, those things were there in 18, whatever it is, right? So I'm saying it's much more than just thinking in terms of rehabilitation, prison industries, and other aspects of it that you spoke about. And if you go to most of those, you go to Wandsworth Prison in England and all these different institutions. You look at the Canadian, where they build the maximum security prison in Golden Grove there. That was based on a Canadian model, but it was never really developed as such because you had people, it was never geared, as I heard the prison officer spoke about it. It was never geared for remanded prisoners, right? The whole facility was geared towards those convicted prisoners, the high-risk prisoners. And therefore, it was fitted to a large extent with the facilities to facilitate rehabilitation. Schools, they have the question of laundries and all these different things to facilitate, but it never really materialized the way in which it was intended. You look at afresh. You can't take plaster and put on saw. And if you're talking about people who getting into prison, and the fact that you have to have preventive measures, policy to prevent people. You have to have diversion from prison.
Well, Kola, you're correct. We have to have preventative measures, but at the end of the day, we have people in prison. And one of the things that, as probably a means of probably solving the problem to some extent, I know Wayne Chan should have spoken a lot about that in the past, you know, listening to him over the years. If we could put something in the prison system that start from inside there, that would make people either not want to go back inside, and you can't, don't tell me something, don't tell me the inhumane conditions and that kind of thing is that, because to a large extent, that didn't work. It's not working. You have so many people revisiting prison after they've been inside there for so long, and at the same time, earn a living, or solve a problem, and that is in the expenditure. You have something to balance that expenditure. I don't see that as a problem because it is tried and tested in other parts of the world.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we're going to have, if you have people who repeat offending, you have people who go into prison, spend time in prison, and it's like prison after many years. Prison become like home. They go outside and they go back into prison. They spend 2 months outside and they get back inside there. And what you have to understand is that you have to look at the root. Why people commit crime? What are the causes of crime? So it's not just saying, well, look, people go in there, and because you have to deal with the factors. What factor, what I should say, you know, why people commit crime?
Right,
what are the causation of crime?
Right. So that
and you deal with that, and that I'm talking about the preventive. I was responding primarily to what Simoya had said.
Yeah.
That is what I was responding to. But I'm saying that to say that when people go in there and because of the no, when you have some people, the recidivist side, they get inside there and it becomes part of the go outside. They spend 3 months, they run all over the place, and they get back into prison. Prison becomes their home. They just go out of provocation. You have those people who commit crime because of different reasons. We don't say poverty causes crime, but we say there's a propensity for people who are poor to commit crime. Not everybody who's poor commit crime. You have all different factors. And then we're talking about you send people to prison. And when you send them to prison, there's a potential for those people to become repeat offenders. So you use diversion, you use probation, you use fines, you use community service, suspended centers. Are we sending people to prison you know, what is the rate of sentencing?
Just because we ain't had no other choice? Just because the law say that?
So you're right. So you have all these things that you could explore. I'm saying that you need to look at the entire penal system in Trinidad and Tobago and come up with a policy. And I'm saying the way things are today with respect to that prison, the prison now has been run down. They tell you that.
Yeah.
Where are you going with that again? You have to find, because you have to build new prisons.
Correct.
Otherwise, what you're doing, you're putting what you call new wine or what in old bottle, and all that kind of thing. All the facilities, you don't have the still stopping. You have, as I said, old rundown upstate institutions. They can't withstand the test of time in 2025. They did nothing over the years to transform the prison system.
Correct.
Thank you. I don't want to take too much of your time.
Yeah, thanks. Right? But, you know, this had to be done or dealt with in layers.
Yes.
So clearly, you know, all the callers are saying almost the same thing we say all the time. But today we just dealing with the prison system. But really and truly, to prevent all this kind of the miscreants, to prevent some of the behaviors and the attitudes and that kind of thing, we had to deal with our system of training people, our system of parenting, our education system, our system of helping those that are not so who can't afford to do certain things. You know, not everybody have the money to send a child to the best schools or to do certain things that will facilitate a good child or a good citizen, and therefore the system itself must know that, and we talk about that digitization of the economy and that kind of thing. We also talk about the education system to a large extent, and all these things to me in a package will assist in making a good citizen.
100%. Actually, Vision and Mission does those types of things, huh? In terms of
But
rehabilitating.
since he died, I don't know what I don't know.
No, but it is something that is actively part of Vision and Mission to help persons who would have come out from prison in terms of they do planting as well. They
But
do
is
that
it
kind of
working?
crop.
Is it working?
It is, as far as I'm aware. As far as I'm aware, I have, you know, someone in particular that's working there, and they did say to me it helps persons who come out of prison and they don't know where to start in terms of giving them those skills and reintegrating them back into society. So I think it's something that they could look into.
I would like to hear what their statistics are.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of how many persons they would have saved in that way, and that are doing something different, because we live in a very unforgiving society too, and that is the next thing we have to remember.
Correct.
And we as employment people, employment law and human resource management people, we have to understand that too. Because when a person come out of prison, do prison for whatever time you did this time already, you still say you did this time young, right? The system is unforgiving. You had a police certificate, a good character, you get that, you ain't get the job. You know, all that kind of thing. That doesn't happen in societies that don't, because what am I to do after that? You come and time again.
So which is why we are saying give them the skills, find ways to give them skills that they could even start their own businesses or start.
But not even I wouldn't even say give. I wouldn't even say that. Give them skills to prejudice only person with the skill, only prisoners to do this. I think we need to have a system. People did the time, they pay for it. Unless it's something a crime against humanity, like probably murder or rape and that kind of thing. But people, you have to understand people, you have to find a way to reintegrate these people. Otherwise, you still have this kind of problem. People saying that the recidivism rate is very high, but think about it, think why it is high.
But I know some examples. As I said, I know some young men who made some errors, and the fortunate thing for them is that the community didn't ostracize them completely, but they came out of prison. As you said, they have a record now. They get a police certificate of character. They just can't get certain jobs anymore. Then if they have a home still, that they are lucky. Then even with that, they may not even have a phone to get a phone call to get a job, and then they end up taking odd and end jobs and get frustrated and say, well, okay, let me see if I could
all those things
rob somebody and
look
increase
at
my
this
income.
From a 360
Correct.
standpoint. You
But
can't
there
just look
still
at it
needs
just
to
like
be
that.
Information. Once we begin to tell our young people these are the realities of what can happen when you come out of prison, at least it should spark a thought in them that say, look, I don't want to go there. Because when you come out, that's another issue. You are not welcomed back to society, as you were saying. Life becomes even harder.
Yes.
So again, that is what, for me, the police youth clubs and all of those youth groups should be speaking about, especially to our young people, and let them know the harsh realities of life.
Yeah. So callers, we go into a break shortly. So we seen your calling. We will take your calls when we come back. So because we're going in a break in the next minute and something. Yeah. So I'm saying that, you know, is a holistic approach.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And the people who thinking that this could be just solved just like that,
No.
this society too far gone for that to happen.
I agree.
People out here just bitter, you know.
Yeah.
They're better for all kind of reasons. They're better because they can't survive. They're not seeing. They're watching you and they're seeing you getting by. But they didn't do what you was doing.
Correct.
When you was when you was studying, when you was working hard to get what you wanted. They was doing something else.
Yeah.
But you still can't look at it like that because they might not have had that opportunity. They might have been one of the persons who learn differently.
Correct.
Right?
And what I will add to that, I had an article that came out in the newspapers last week, Trinidad Guardian, called Are We Future Focused? And you see this artificial intelligence wave that is coming.
Oh, yes.
That is going to have a lot of people unprepared.
That's right.
A lot of people almost like they're uneducated and have to unlearn the old habits and skills.
That's right.
And a lot of jobs are going to become obsolete.
Correct.
So that by itself is going to increase that.
Answer Makal has introduced
Yes.
AI in the
Put
whole
into their
the whole HR system.
Yeah.
So all of that, those things are things that we have to be mindful of in terms of how we approach things
Yes.
and how we see people in the workplace, and you know, all that is, I mean, is unfortunate that we're looking at things in silos.
Yes.
But we will never solve the problem if we continue looking at it like that. Yeah,
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that if we don't manage this AI revolution coming, we may have a larger amount of people to go into the prison simply because they're unemployed, they can't survive, they don't have the relevant skills for this new world that is
So,
coming.
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break to pay some bills. When we come back, we will continue this discussion.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM as he talks about LaVive, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in LaVive are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the LaVive healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM.
The #1 bookstore in Trinidad is having the biggest back-to-school sale for the holidays.
Shop at Sharon's Bookstore for the biggest back-to-school sale.
All your kindergarten, preschool,
primary, secondary school,
and tertiary education supplies at ridiculously low prices. Sharon's also carries a wide range of sneakers, socks, t-shirts, vests for girls and boys,
and much more items for school. So don't miss Sharon's back-to-school sale.
Now on Eastern Main Road, San Juan, Tunapuna.
2 locations at Trin City Mall, ground level and first level. We're also open on Sundays from 8 a.m. Check us on Facebook for up-to-date info and promotions. Also, message us for a quick response.
If you love summer and you love pizza, then you'll love Pizza Hut's all-you-can-eat summer. Head to the hunt for our big buffet every day. Then simply upload your receipt to our social media pages for a chance to win a PlayStation 5, a 5-island cabana experience for you and 9 friends, and so much more. Check our socials for details. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
This Java, get ready to chase the crunch with KFC. Dip it, dunk it, and drip it with our juiciest chicken tenders ever for as low as $29.95.
It's Java, it's summertime. KFC makes it all come alive. Big limestone into big appetite. Hit the beach with KFC. Yeah.
Choose our hot and spicy or extra crispy non-spicy tenders and dip, dunk, and drip into our flavorful sauces, Java style.
Gonna spice up the summer, let's go.
So, chase the crunch and make Java finger-licking good with KFC.
I love you.
The Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches, together with national cultural icon Mr. William Monroe, presents the first ever national concert of choirs, Divine Harmonies, Saturday, December 6, 2025, at the Grandstand, Queen's Park Savannah. Choirs will be competing for prize money to the tune of $250,000, with the winner walking away with the grand prize of $100,000. We invite all church choirs nationwide to participate in this spiritual, cultural, and musical richness that will bring upliftment to our nation and redound to the glory of God. Tickets will be available August 15 from Maranatha Bookstore and outlets of the Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches. For more information, call 719-9599 or 497-0361. Divine Harmonies, ushering in the glory of God. This is Apostle Anthony Golson, and I'm inviting you to be there.
Don't miss the biggest price meltdown at Furniture Plus this summer. Shop dining room sets from $15.99, bedroom combos from $20.69, plus free delivery with select living room furniture. Shop the best deals at Furniture Plus today.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on The Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke.
And every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight,
I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Sheet 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight
for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Looking for a preschool for your child? Well, look no further. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we believe that every child deserves a jumpstart to success in a safe and loving environment. We prepare your little ones for primary school while giving them the care and attention they deserve, whether they're 3 or 7 years old. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we cater to children with special needs and provide long hours of care from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. so you can rest easy knowing your child is in good hands. And for our tiniest learners, babies aged 3 months to 2 years, we offer nurturing daycare services to help them grow and thrive. Join the Leaping Learners family today. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Leaping Learners Preschool or visit our website at leapinglearnerstt.com to learn more. We are located in Barataria. Called 744-1523. That's 744-1523. Your child's future begins with a leap.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the street, 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, we are back. And we will, for this short period, we will continue the discussion. We realize that a lot of you wanted to call in and chime in and have your say on the issue we were talking about. We were talking about the penal system, the cost to run it, and ways in which we could probably make it better or more cost effective. So you can chime in, call us. Let's hear what you have to say in relation to the discussion we had just a while ago. So you were saying, Seymour, that maybe we could do some adjustments in the way we control this prison situation.
Absolutely.
Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon, Barry. I just sent him a proposal there.
Okay.
For the prison system. You could just watch. We take a read on it on WhatsApp there now. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, well, I don't know how to access that on this system here, but maybe you could tell us. Give us a précis. Caller, we lost the caller. The next caller here. Good evening, caller.
Hey, panel. Just being brief to the point. Listening to you all. Now, sometimes when we talk about crime, we only speak about the ground level. You know, the young, I don't even want to say any ethnicity to get anybody upset, but those who get caught with illegal items. But are we really talking about what they call quote unquote white collar crime also?
But we're not talking about, we're not really talking about crime in that way. We're talking about the prison system.
The prison system.
And those who are in prison. So if you're in prison, you will obviously be affected by what we're talking about. If you're not in prison, even if you're a white collar criminal and you didn't get rich in prison, well, you know.
Yeah. I understand. Well, you'll also mentioned the cost factor to the states, to the citizens of the country. You know, the honest persons who go into work, go into school, and you know, we have to kind of bear that cost in the form of taxation allocation. So,
correct.
A point to consider could see how we could reduce the influx of persons coming into prison. What y'all think?
Well, the thing is, they don't seem to be able to do that, and that might be harder to do than what we suggesting actually, because crime seems to be, you know, running away. We know why. We know to an extent why the system is inherently corrupt in so many different ways. If you could, if you could flood out a whole floor in a police station just to get rid of some firearms record, for whatever reason, for the people to reapply, so you could take money from them again, to 60 and 80,000 and all kind of thing to get a firearm, then that should tell you something, right? And unfortunately, even if it is not so, that's how the society see it, right? Because we know that's what it was doing before, right? So, nothing else I get damaged but firearms records. Right, and some HR records. That making any sense?
And it's not computerized.
And it's not computerized in 2025.
True.
You know, So you know the system, the justice system, the police, they're corrupt to a large extent, and unfortunately, good people who have confidence in them. So what we're talking about here is how we could address, how the government maybe what they could do to address the situation in terms of, you know, and we want to hear what is your position on it, how you feel about it.
Well, I mean, I respect for listening, and I mean, the fact that I really enjoy the program. I mean, that's the thing about topics. Sometimes we might not always agree, but we can respect each other's position. So,
nice.
My perspective on it. I mean, again, I would still lean on addressing, as you say, it might be difficult. The system is, what it has been, but if we do really shine that light and look at the procedures and see if there is any misconduct, misuse of power or authority, any corruption, then we might have the same conversation 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. And we as a society, we may not really be able to achieve and enjoy the standard of living that, you know, most of us work towards. So, I mean, I think definitely we need to look and see how we could reduce crime, reduce the influence of crime, you know, and have equal opportunity. So,
you see that,
if you as a citizen,
you see what you just said, the influence of crime. The influence of crime, if you think of it, is that it's a very dynamic thing. Very, very dynamic.
Very dynamic.
All kind of thing influences crime in triangle. Right? Not
well,
just
at this
what
point,
you think.
I will listen off here and make space for
Right?
What
do you think? What do you think?
I remember more than 10 years ago, I was walking down the street in my community, and there were some teenagers laughing and talking with each other and boasting. You know that criminal? That criminal came here and he didn't even hail you out. I said, wait now. The ambition of these group of young people is to become a criminal, and they look up to a criminal. How do you solve that? And that's why I always say you need social workers and of course 10 years later, X amount of them have already been in prison, X amount of them have been shot, X amount of them are engaged in all sorts of criminal activities. So there's a strong subculture for that criminal group.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at probably the way the things they glorify in school.
Correct.
You go into school, you want what is the new bag that they want now? That costing about $800, a school bag.
With a shark on it.
But you even know what you even know what your books say.
Yeah.
You want a old school cork top. You want a Jordan that costs $1,500 to go to school. Think about the people who are wearing that and see where they.
That's correct.
Yeah. And if your parents can afford that, right? Then you become a miscreant. So the thing is, it's a whole system you have to change. The whole system of values and everything we have to change, because check those people down the road, those people who them same little trend who want that and who the parents promote that, right? They have a kind of alternative reality, a false sense of values and that kind of thing. And at the end of the day, they will be the one who will be continue looking for that, you know. Sometimes as a man, you hear a woman say that if a man can do this X for she, if a man can do it, he can get with she and all that kind of thing, because they have a false sense of value.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I heard that there are a bunch of secondary schools that are unofficially called 30% of schools. They consist of the people who scored just over 30%, 30 to 50% in common entrance. For now, SCA, I'm aging myself in SCA. So I mean, if you only get 30%, but you essentially fail common entrance if you got 30%. If you still get promoted, you are not really going to glorify academics because you know you're not good at that. So I'll big up the Jordans, big up the whatever school bag that's $800 and that type of thing. Go to school and just fight.
And fight and be a bully and all
that. Yeah, because you're not really there for academics. You know you're not going to do well.
Right, but the system again promotes that to some extent.
Yes.
And again, we have to fix the education system. I don't care what nobody say.
100%.
We have to fix that.
I
If we have to fix that, we have problems.
Those conversations in the schools. Now, you're aware that I did my classroom to career sessions. For
let me take this caller.
Now.
Yeah, good evening, caller.
Good afternoon again to the panel and the
again, I agree with getting the prisoners involved in agriculture, and it don't have to be mandatory, it can be optional. You see, it's different reasons persons will end up in prison. Some will be on remand, some convicted. Some convicted for a period, some convicted for life. But I say, if it's maintenance, how do we really achieve justice by just putting the perpetrator behind bars and not providing them with the opportunity to still have an opportunity to provide? It's just going to be mining them in prison for the duration of their sentence. By the sweat of a man's brow, that is how you will eat bread. So if you're not engaging in any work, we are just have a system or a cycle where persons doing the wrong things and the state or the citizenry have to pay for it. And pay this large sum of money that many persons not even working for. Something $1,000. A lot of people who contributing to that is not working for that figure. So I believe it will be a plus to introduce this agriculture component to the prison service to give persons the opportunity. I mean, if you don't want to, we enforcing it on you, but where would you just lie down, sleep, sit down all day, come out for airing for an hour or two? I mean,
pick up soap.
Yeah.
Stay on the side of caution, eh?
Oh, God. Yeah, but, and you see, as the gentleman talk about the influence of criminals and things, the problem that we continue to face in this country is we, in many cases, not looking at the character of persons. Because you have plenty of people who hold in high office and have all kind of positions, but their character is questionable, right? It's sometimes the same character that criminals possess. And
we're not even proposing necessarily agriculture, because we have an expert in sitting here in innovation. We're not even necessarily proposing agriculture. We, as I would have in our opening, we would have spoken about a lot of the things that sometimes some of which you use in Trinidad and Tobago, utensils and that kind of, I mean, in prisons, in other places, you have all kind of thing, all kind of industry you could create out of prisons. Now, as we say, that also have pros and cons. But if you fix it, and we are inherently a corrupt society,
almost definitely.
But if you fix the system in a certain kind of way and create that kind of checks and balances and accountability, then it should run fairly safe and in a way which pays for itself.
And as you always say, Mr. Matterson, there is no need to reinvent the wheel, because there's a system in place where you will vet persons in terms of what category you could put them in if they are too violent to go in this field, and we can't allow them to participate in the options that we offer. All these different things. I mean, people who I believe supposed to have some level of common sense with all this education that they have supposed to be considering, right? Correct. And these programs will also aid in rehabilitation of the persons who end up in there. It will cut down on the number of persons who continue to revolve through the system.
Yes. It will at least put some of the people, because you could have education programs inside there too. Now, some will say that these things happen, but I don't know to what level. You can have education system where a man could get a degree inside there too. It happens in I think countries. One of them big Vice Cartel or one of them was in prison and they got a degree inside there. Right? The thing is, these things are not difficult to think about.
Apart from the penalty side, it will benefit us as a society to focus on implementing rehabilitative strategies for persons who find themselves there, because just penalizing someone and not providing the opportunity for them to be rehabilitated is one of the reasons why we continue to struggle with the issue, right? Because without persons changing the mindset, the course of action, then after the sentence is finished or after they come out from remand, I mean, come on, after you've been in remand with convicted murderers, convicted rapists, you name it, people who committed all levels of fraud, you're in there, you don't have an opportunity to earn. You understand?
But even with that caller, the system is unforgiving. So even
No.
how you fix it is unforgiving, because when let's say you come out and you want to be good, right? Unless you have a whole ton of money put on to start your own business and do your own thing and be get, known in that area doing something that people want to purchase. Unless you could do that, my friend, you still have to deal with a system that is unforgiving, that will continue not forgiving you.
Yeah.
Because you now have to get certificate of character, you do your time, you pay your dues, and you still have to come out and pay it for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And somebody not telling you that, as a young person, somebody not telling you that, hey, if you go in prison, when you come out, you will be remembered for life.
Yeah.
Correct.
The system will remember you for life. And that to me is unfortunate also.
And then too, it's really insulting to be telling people that you're innocent until proven guilty, but these are the conditions that we are remanding and holding you in.
Exactly.
If you are really innocent at the end of whatever investigation and court matter, why did we put you through that type of duress, inhumane state? Why did we really put you through that as a state? I love to listening. Wonderful.
Very good point.
Yeah. And I mean it's serious. As we said before, the holistic thing. We had to think about this all out. And
I know the caller said something at the end there that resonated with me. He said that if you are innocent until guilty and you're in remand, it seems as if the being under remand is much more stringent than being free, because I saw this. Yeah, because if you're on remand where you're supposedly innocent, you're under lockdown 23 hours a day, locked up in your cell. But if you are a convict, you have much more flexibility to be outside and walk around.
So warm and sticky whole day.
So what's really going on? Yeah. Right? Why are the so-called innocent under remand facing much harsher conditions than the actual guilty?
And how much of them who are usually convicted, are usually on remand, will get convicted?
Correct, because you are sitting there waiting for years to get some measure of justice. People don't understand how serious even the court system is.
Martin Luther, you remember Martin Luther King said, is Martin Luther King or Malcolm X? One of them say, justice too long, is Martin Luther King.
Justice delayed.
Justice too long delayed is justice denied.
Yes.
Right? And that is exactly what it is. I mean, you can't delay justice for so long and then expect that while the state make money, while elements of the state make money off of it, lawyers make money off of it, the transportation company, the security company make money off of you, and you just there finding a way, and then we find out you're innocent.
Yeah.
So it feeds right into the need for innovation in the public sector. Because even when you have to go through the legal systems, it's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of paperwork, and you are waiting there years for your case to even start. I think at the start of, I can't remember the law term, one of the, I don't know if it's the Attorney General, somebody was making a statement that divorce matters and domestic violence are staying too long while people are dying, and they have an issue with the length of time that matters are taking to get
Let's
started.
take this caller. See now caller. Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, umpires.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Simone. Never big him to umpire tonight.
All right, man. Thank you.
CPL tonight. Justice delayed, justice denied.
Yes.
But you know that person has been planting down full by goal and go belong to the convicted.
Yeah. Well, those are the convicted prisoners. But we saying that not just agriculture, but make prison. Okay, so even if a man in prison on remand, right? We know he go down stay for long, right? Give him the opportunity to work and learn something and continue his life,
that's
right?
the point I was making.
And once if he's found guilty, well then he goes on to the rest of the system, continue working hard, labor, whatever. You ain't getting paid for that.
No.
But if you're found, if you're innocent,
it have costs and things. If you carry that right properly, you could go back to school.
Very good. Very good.
Well, when in remand yard.
That you're saying that is current, that is present in remand yard right now?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, right now.
Right, well that's good. But so then why we having so much problems still? Is it not structured? Is it structured because why we have so many people revisiting prison?
Yeah.
Why we have so many people going back?
Exactly.
Is it because of the system
Prison,
outside?
that you
The
underworld.
system outside? Huh?
Huh?
Is it because
I said that the underworld people feel they go in prison and feel that better roses thing, you know?
Right.
You go just like, don't eat a set of bird, you talk on the phone.
Oh, so you get to talk on phone and thing in prison.
Yeah. They feel like you're too comfortable, eh?
Dropping the soap must be nice then.
Dropping the soap must be a competition.
No, anyway, man. My name Blue. You will like to drop a soap because there's some barcode that sharks up there. Wait till feel.
You ever drop a soap?
Mr. Matterson, I'm steering you on the side of caution. Do not misbehave in the presence of our guest.
No, I mean, the caller know a lot, seem to know a lot. But I mean, there are so many things that you as an innovation expert could, suggest to probably help us with this system. I see Mr. President call. Let me take Mr. President and then we'll go to that. Mr. President.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon,
Simoya.
Samola.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon, next brother name I very know it by him.
Emerson. Emerson.
Everson, all right, okay, thanks. I know the next two brothers, they were there yesterday, but anyway, the subject all going on there is a healthy subject to utilize the prisoners in the best way that we could do. But when I use the word we, I'm going back to that we again, Stephen, because the truth is, and I keep on saying it, I would never stop saying it. Why? Because in an autumn, nucleus, proton, and whatever electron it have in it. But if you're missing that in the system of itself, if you're missing one, then the atom is not an atom. And that's why I keep on saying all the time. From the days of slavery, it managed opposition government. But where is the slave? The slave not active in the system. They didn't make him active in the first place. So he outside of the system. And he is the one to make the system because he is the working man. This thing has to construct differently because the working man is still a slave in a system. And don't care how you put it, those who inside of the prison are considered slaves. If you go to put them to work, plenty of them go get trouble to work to them because they know where they are. And they're not going to work satisfactory. So we have to go down to the real nature of things. When I say philosophy, psychology, I'm missing those two brothers. You is a social man. And you have a very great point in that umpire state. But you in your mind, the breaks in creation. You're pulling on things that is already the system. And this system we don't like. I would say we, the same we who talking about what we go do. Listen to what I be said. I keep on saying that what we call a vision is necessary. Who has that? Don't feel them who you put there lately. They're on vision. They don't satisfy any needs of the public to stay there or to get money. They are not we. We have to be we in the we that we talk in. So we have to take over this system. I can't talk no more. We still talk because I can't stop. I'm going with that.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Wow.
The caller said, we have to take over. I could understand why you would feel that way because, that's linked back to what you were just talking about with innovation. There's an international standard for managing innovation. It's now a national standard. And it talks about innovation leadership. And one of the key things to get change going on and new ideas being developed and harnessed is that they need a leadership commitment and support for it. And when it comes to the prison systems, I see the Prison Welfare Association people speak, and those groups, but you never ever hear the leadership talk, whether in the prison side or national security side or even the politicians, that hey, we need to reform the system. But you try to do that reform without that support, when then you come like what the brother president was not talking about, like we had to have a revolution and take over for ourselves.
We talk about you two, you will understand Qatar. And Qatar model
yes.
And everybody had to come together.
Absolutely.
To fix this thing.
Yes.
Because you had to have some kind of buy-in, you had to have a project sponsor, which is the government, who would say, well, look, listen, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to do it.
Yes.
This is what we, based on what you see, this is how we will help you. You know, all that kind of thing. And we had to have a need and a want to do it.
Absolutely.
There seems, for some reason, we seem to be going on in circles every year, because all this talk about prisons and things, we hearing this from years now. Since we small, Since we small, we hearing this talk. Remember when Ramesh Divsaran and them fellas and them so-called criminologists and things went in prison and come out crying and all kind of thing? How much years ago that was?
Yeah, and what has changed? Nothing.
In fact, it get worse. People still in that dilapidated building on Frederick Street that was built like a dungeon about 200 years now. You know, Carrera, the same thing.
Yeah.
Golan Grove, the same thing. Nothing really happened. We just piling more dong on dong.
And as a caller had said, there are so many examples of where it's being done right. And we could look at for change. But for some reason, those conversations are not being had on a consistent and holistic basis.
Correct. So, I mean, you had to blame, to a large extent, you had to blame the system. You had to blame both the batsmen and the field side, because both of them have been around from time since the beginning of time, and both of them had severe responsibility to fix this thing, and they didn't do it, right? Or even to start the conversation and fixing it, because at the end of the day, as we would have identified, the education system is a key pillar. The social security network is another pillar, right? The facilitating infrastructure, like digitization. We live in the 21st century, and some things happening here that making you wonder. Like, for instance, that fire or that fire suppression system that failed in the police administration building, and happened only to destroy the firearm records. That should tell you something.
Correct.
That should tell you something.
Correct.
How come in this day and time? You remember a couple of years ago, or 10 years ago, something like that happened in Wassa?
I was thinking about that.
And they burned down a whole building to destroy records. They could do that because, you know, we ain't no cloud-based system. I mean, we really thinking? Government still operating like this at this day and age? Come on, I mean, this
we are not serious about knowledge management.
We're not serious about nothing. We're not serious about nothing. Because all of us here went to university, all of us did degrees, passed, masters, and that kind of thing, all of them too. You telling me nobody here understand that, boy?
I think this should be a project of this new Ministry of AI, that we should start. We really need to digitize these things, because how is it that you are not able to find basic information? People, a lot of times with pension, people have to go and come with files and all of these things. You are asking elders to go and produce records from since Jesus was a little boy. And it's hampering people's ability to move forward and do
that
business.
situation with files that got lost in police, that was the hair that broke the camel back for me. Because that tells me how corrupt we really are.
Absolutely.
Yes,
there's
very
an obvious benefit
I mean,
in
it's like we talking about these warships that sail into Venezuela, and people talking about that is for drug interdiction. Any fool could see you don't need no aircraft carrier
to set up drugs.
Right. And it's the same thing with that fire, I mean, with that fire suppression system, that water system that burst. So you tell me that person is only the firearm and some HR file that get damaged? That doesn't tell you something. You know what hundreds of thousands of dollars police take from people to get firearm and the people never get it?
Wow.
It's clear they want to take it again.
and there may be some people who will be willing to pay it again.
Well, you see, corruption sometimes strive as a necessity, you know.
Yeah.
Because you make it so difficult for people to get things that they should get on a normal that people have no problem seeing it as part of the cost to get what they want.
Yeah.
And that is the unfortunate thing.
And that's why they will restrict digital transformation, resist artificial intelligence, resist innovation, and when the entire society realize that corruption is the norm, for the group of people who end up in prison, they're saying, but this is how we do, this is how we are. It's just my type of crime. It's a different type of crime. My type of crime is one that will get you locked up.
We're not seeing that for some reason.
And that's how some of them see it. Yes.
We're not seeing that. So corruption, because corruption has become institutionalized, it is now, it's difficult to turn back the hands at time. And that's one of these hard things. Good evening, caller.
Good evening again. I just wanted to raise one concern I have with this student side, because painfully I had to listen to the previous Minister of Finance, Mr. Imbert, talking about the government is bankrupt, they have no money. But just a few months ago, you all were telling us that you all were stabilizing the place. You all supposed to come and give a narrative of, I left X amount of money here, I left X amount of money there, for it to continue running the place. But to stand up on the platform and say convincingly that the government is bankrupt and has no money after just a few months, and they didn't engage in no large spending, no giving out no large contracts. What all you really was doing, Mr. Imbert?
They, in my opinion, have no moral authority to talk about this. If I was them, I would just hush. I would just hush for now.
I agree with that.
They have no moral authority to talk about some comments on some of the things that they're talking about, because really and truly, they were there for 10 years.
At this point, they're just doing their jobs as being opposition.
They were there for 10 years. You facilitate corruption, you do all kind of thing. I mean, what you can be telling us now?
When you look at the, they say innovation is the main source of competitive advantage. And is needed to diversify the economy. And if you look at the official metrics, so Harvard University, they have an atlas of economic complexity. Over the last 30 years, from 1995 to now, there's the level of innovation and technology in our exports has remained the same. If you look at the Global Innovation Index, right, so we have to go past the party politics sometimes. Look at the raw data. Global Innovation Index, we are now 108th in the world as of last year in innovation. You know, in 2008 we were 68th. So we from 68th in the world and we dropped to 108.
Because
what's going on
about
there?
little Babylon, all about moving fast.
There are 30 places ahead of us. One of the index I mentioned, there's something called the Readiness for Future Technologies Index, right? That's from the UNCTAD United Nations Technology and Innovation Report. That one is a new one. When it came out, we were, I think, 76th in 2021. We already dropped to 86th place. And Barbados, as you mentioned, is in Global Innovation Index, in the Readiness for Frontier Technology Index, like artificial intelligence, robotics. There are 30 places ahead of us.
They launched a system not too long ago where you don't really need a bank account. You could pay your bills from your phone.
Wow. So, we're still struggling here.
We're still talking about that crap about we corrupt.
And our economy is much larger. I could be wrong. It's not much larger, but they are more primed to succeed in the future than us.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
I must say they are very forward thinking.
Yeah. So we're talking about we don't have any money and we're bankrupt. That is something that should be raising eyebrows. How did we get there? How did we continue falling on these important global innovation indices?
But I have a lot of confidence in Dominic.
Yes.
The minister, because I know him personally, and I feel that he has a good heart and he wants to do things. He wants to get certain things done. Yeah. I wish we could get him.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
To come. I will try to get him to come.
And with the innovation expert, we'd love to hear.
Oh yes,
that level of conversation.
Well, the main frontier technology that everyone was talking about is artificial intelligence. So when I heard that there was a ministry of that included AI. Okay, my heart rose.
Move by government.
But let me see
what's actually done.
You see this budget coming here. This budget will tell me how well them fellas batting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the real trajectory will come out of that budget. Right? It will tell me how well them fellas batting. Because if I see that you put a significant amount of money on being able to feed ourselves agriculture, that's one thing I see this every day.
Yeah.
That to me is key.
Right.
We have fairly good health infrastructure.
Yeah.
We have fairly good. We had to fix the road because roads and road networks and that kind of thing because that's productivity right there.
Yes.
Right. How much? What was the amount of people? Someone said yesterday on the road every day 200,000 people on the road every day getting to Port Spain and that kind of thing. And you spending 2 hours to get there, you're losing 2 hours to get there, and you're losing 2 hours to go back. Like 4 hours multiplied by 4 hours multiplied by the amount of people on the road. You check how much millions you losing every day in productivity. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right? In real countries, you don't even need to have a car.
Yeah,
for sure.
There are 5 or 6 means of transportation to get to
And for me, just before we continue, I think this is contributing to a high level of burnout. If you are spending all these hours in traffic, it means you have to wake up 3-4 o'clock to start getting there. So when you reach to work, you will have no energy in you to give the quality service that we require, especially in the public service. It's a reality as human beings that you're dealing with.
But you know, as you mentioned the budget, I will look at my budget wish list in line with the innovation indices and the artificial intelligence, robotics, automation. The countries that are ready to use those and prepared for them, they are the ones going to be making the most of the amount of money.
Of
right?
course.
Absolutely.
But
because you could turn around things fast. Productivity will skyrocket. You know, all them kind of thing. I mean.
But when I look
you'd rather go to work, you could work from home.
But when I look at the Readiness for Frontier Technology Index, right, it's made up of 5 areas. It's ICT, it's human skills, research and development, industrial capacity, and finance. And each one of them, we are globally ranked. So when it comes to ICT and human skills, we are kind of adequately okay. And that kind of makes sense because we had years of investments in GATE, years of investment in digital transformation and things like that. So we're okay. But you know where we are terrible in? We are terrible in research and development and the industrial capacity of our manufacturing sector.
Somebody once told me, and I've proved that time and time again working with clients, we are not data driven. We just operate by guess with everything. We operate by what we feel and what we say. Data driven. Do the analytics. Check it right there. You could figure it out. Right? And design your systems to suit the data you have before you.
And listen, and look how bad. Now, overall in that index, we are ranked 108. But you know, in R&D, we are ranked 130. In industrial capacity, we are ranked 122. So we are even worse. So if we could just, in this budget, focus on those 2 areas, I'm talking about for the future, right? And focus on those 2 areas, we could immediately start to transform our society.
Correct. And those are things that, I mean, when you tie that into human capital and your some of the things we spoke about a lot on this program, you know, how you manage your human capital, how you structure your human capital to get the best.
That's right.
You will merge into a super highway society.
Yeah. And I would like to, if I could be allowed to go a little bit more granular in this. In terms of research and development, we know no one would deny that we are terrible. I know you agree with that. But why doesn't UE and UTT have like artificial intelligence centers to help people develop these skill sets?
Let me take this call again. Caller, good evening.
Hey panel. Good afternoon. Real brief here. There was a caller before called president. Now honestly I must say, usually ever since I listened to him, ever so often I kind of tend to change his station for a little bit because for one he gets real passionate and you don't really hear clearly what he's saying. But on this particular occasion, I agree with one point he touched on. yes, we might be talking about how, I mean, we're talking about how we could utilize prisoners in a productive way for the society, but he would have mentioned the psychology, because we might know some persons, even out in society, no matter what, some people always looking for a shortcut. No matter what situation, you might see somebody and say, boy, you try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times at a loophole and it's not working out and you're still trying. That is a mindset issue. So I agree with the point he touched on. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we need to address. Sure, go ahead.
Correct. We agree with them too this evening.
Yeah. Yeah, man. The mindset needs to be adjusted. And then again, us as good, genuine citizens, we can't be affected by those who, bent on mischief. Keep up the good work you guys doing.
Yeah, thank you. The sad thing is, it takes more than that. It takes more than just a mindset.
Yeah.
To fix what is happening, right?
Fantastic.
So as we say, we have to have a project sponsor, right? And if that project sponsor not interested in that, it ain't going no way, because you'll just frustrate yourself.
Yes.
Right? And we know that from studying how these things are done. The other challenge is that if we don't have the capacity in people, right? It's still ain't gonna fix neither.
Yes.
Right? So I always say we have to start from ground up. We have to fix our education system. We have to fix the way and fix it, reculturalize people. Right? So our education system is one way to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, for the amount of money we spend in education system, it sounds like we just interested in herding people, putting them in a place where you come out. It's like a degree mill, a certification house. You just put people to get certification, but you don't really have thinking people. You don't really have people come out. I had no problem at Gate, but here I had a problem at.
Yeah.
If you're spending this amount of money on people, then you should be streamlining. You should be spending money in a streamlined way inconsistent with your strategic plan. What you want to see the country go. So if you want to see the country develop in a particular area, right, you should be given the most gate funding in that area.
Yeah. I agree with you. There seemed to be no strategic direction. At the moment, we should have at least 100 people with PhDs in artificial intelligence in this space. And next 100 in gene editing.
Exactly.
Right? But it was just any degree you want to do, you could just have done it. No guidance.
Waste my money and
then when they come out with these degrees, there's no jobs for them, so they go into.
But a lot of people come out and they just went and got a degree, but they didn't understand what to do because.
But there's nowhere for it to be applied, is what I'm saying.
That's the next thing.
And then they will end up in a situation where the people who are not academically inclined will be like, but look, this person has a whole master's degree, but they are doing data entry. I am making the same amount of money as them. I might as well not even try.
Or a man might say, hey, listen, I choose not to go and do no masters and things.
Yeah.
I come out with my degree. I choose to stay home and open my own business and look at making a millionaire now.
Yes.
And some people might say that. But the thing is, you have to invest in the direction you want your people to go in, right? And for some reason, we're not doing that. And it's the same thing. It's the reason why we at a state where our food import bill is $7 or $8 billion. And we're still talking about agriculture.
Yeah.
Right? We in a country where things grow very easily, we don't even have to use the ground again. No, you don't.
Hydroponics.
Emerson, I was saying earlier this week, in terms of, you mentioned this hydroponics. One way we need to get young people or educated people back into that farming aspect, isn't there a way that we and those places could come together and we could get people to do
but that doesn't make sense for people, eh?
But that's what I'm saying. But there are people who do these studies. There's an agriculture, those departments in universities that they could come together and figure out a way how we could raise the economy in terms of agriculture. There are people, we are studying these things. So what are our students coming out to do with these degrees?
Yeah, but as Stephen since Stephen said just now, we need to have someone who's pushing this agenda, a leader. And there are national reports that identified 5 strategic areas where if we apply innovation, we could have a competitive advantage in our exports. And agriculture is one. Why don't we have a national innovation center for agriculture? I mentioned one for AI. And there's a report done with government funds supplied by IDB that highlights how to implement this. But no one is discussing these things. It's just we're going to go on with the thing that we did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and not apply these new future-oriented approaches that are outlined for us.
We're operating like a hungry man, baby. Trying to be operating like a hungry man, and destitute. So we're desperate. So we're doing the bare minimum to survive without thinking. How do we get there? Right? And you have to blame the people for that too, because to a large extent, the people begging for that. They're begging for crumbs. They're begging for crumbs when really and truly you should be thinking about how you could, the things you could do, and it's a survival thing.
We have way too many students that are coming out of universities each year, and they have no way to filter their
Well,
skills
plenty parents telling you have to go to university, get a degree, come out and get a job. Right? You ain't going to university, come out and think.
Exactly.
You're going to the university, come out and get a job. So you selling yourself short.
Yes.
Right? Nobody want to be a Elon Musk or a Bill Gates, so nobody want to be that again.
Well, don't get me started, because remember those innovation industries I mentioned? Because we're so low in those things, that means we don't have the environment to support. If Mark Zuckerberg was in Trinidad in 2005, there wouldn't have been any Facebook. If Elon Musk had grown up in Trinidad, he wouldn't have been any Tesla. At least he wouldn't have been leading it. Because we do have. If you are an inventor in Trinidad and want to develop something new, you have a tough task. You don't have the support mechanisms.
No support. Zero support.
Yeah. Who's the innovation champion in Trinidad and Tobago? That high level person saying, hey, listen, this is a competitive advantage that we need to develop.
We don't have no investment that encourages that.
Not at all.
Correct.
Right? Venture capital. All these things are things that should really be invested in.
Yes.
Right? And Selvon, when you usually talk about the African Exim Bank, I think they are coming with initiatives to assist in those areas. But that would be if the government approves that kind of thing, that would be a big, they will score some runs.
Yes,
right?
for sure.
Score some runs big time. But even with that, people have to start to change their mindset
Correct.
as to how and where they want to go. So
I think that's
deeply,
a great idea.
critically.
When we think about supporting the youth in terms of their development and growth, we always think activities and sports. What about those young people who have these innovative minds? And again, as you said, there's no way for them to channel those energies and get the support.
So Emerson, could that be the reason why we don't have much patent?
Yeah,
Because people are not encouraged to think, to
create,
innovate.
and think,
Well, yes, we could talk about, yes, there's the part on the individual and the innovation competencies and mindset, but I think the bigger problem in Trinidad, because no one will ever doubt that and say that Trinidadians are not creative, is the systems and mechanisms that could only be set up by the government that is lacking. Look, for example, about 10, 12 years ago, we got the second patent in the history of Trinidad and Tobago by a citizen, a professor Defoe at UWE. And if we pull up the article, he almost went back. He's a professor at UWE, and he almost went bankrupt trying to get that patent on his own. He had to teach himself, and we have all these institutions in place that we would think are operating, but it's documented.
What was the patent?
It was for brushless motors.
Okay.
Something like that. You could pull it up online. Right, it was for brushless motors, and at the same time too, that at the time that was not yet it's commonplace now, but it was not yet commonplace.
Wow.
right? And he almost went bankrupt. And I don't even know if he was able to commercialize it.
But is it because China doing that every day? I mean,
Yeah.
precious motors and all that kind of thing.
So if a professor at UWE, working in UWE, developed a thing at UWE, almost went bankrupt, what is there for the regular man?
No, but isn't that, I was on the university, used to take charge of them kind of thing and push them kind of thing.
I'm not saying that they're not trying their best, but I have this real life case study of this gentleman that's documented, and we could go pull him up.
You're supposed to be a UWE lecturer soon, right?
Yes, I'm starting next week.
All right now.
A UWE lecturer in house would be here too.
Yes.
Yeah. So we just have a minute and something. If you call now, you might get an opportunity to say something. But other than that, we will. Mr. President calling. Mr. President.
Yeah, right there, man. Hey, that's a moment, you know, let us beat me up bad, you know. You know, you have everything in all your hand, in all your head, in all your foot. You have everything, you know. But what are you missing, and I keep on saying it to this whole white Trinidad and too.
Is the 12th man?
Is that umpire in the parliament, that referee in the parliament. Believe me. All you're talking the
But you think that will make a change? You think that you see plenty of the people there. Look Philip Alexander see. He was talking plenty, but could one or two person make a change in the way you think, you know?
Well, Caesar man part together with you when he was talking, Stephen, that all you could form an organization. This is why I tell him once, I say, I don't want to hear him going to no other government. Go yourself, because you have the power of a prime minister to do the things of innovation and diversification. He's talking it, but I wonder when it's time to do it, he will do it. And that's the key action all you to do, because you have it get in and do it, because those people who have a opposition and government, they wouldn't do unless somebody direct them to do it.
But Mr. President, this government in office now is a different government from 2010, you know. No, but they're seeing that they're saying it, they're talking the language, they're seeing the trajectory, they're seeing where they say they're going, and so let's give them the opportunity. Let's see. Let me talk this talk probably by June next year.
But Mr. President, I say you're on the right track, but we don't need one or two people in the parliament. We need an official, high-level parliamentary committee in science, technology, and innovation to get this thing going. It can't be one or two persons.
You might know what we want 12 to upset the parliament, because the parliament has 41. And if it has 41 and you have 12, you have plenty. That's plenty. I learned this thing from Divita, you know, and I take it. Divita gone, it couldn't come or whatever, but I learned it and I keep it up. That it must have other people in the parliament to see about the public interest, basically.
All right, now.
Okay.
Right, that's the key.
So Mr. President, we will take your call when after the break. We're going to pay some bills.
All right, I know that too.
Yeah.
Right.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility? Then look no further. The Street 919 FM is here to help you shine. With over 170,000 followers on our social media platforms, our radio station is the perfect platform to showcase your products and services. Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with the Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
The island is buzzing with news of big savings at Sharon's Bookstore, as our back-to-school sale is now happening at all 3 of our locations. We have great deals on everything you need, from school books, sneakers, backpacks, uniforms, stationery, and accessories to so much more. Whether your little one is starting kindergarten heading to primary, secondary, or private school, or even taking theory, we've got you covered here at Sharon's. So why wait? Come on down and let us help you get ready for school. Our friendly team is waiting for you now at our locations on the Eastern Main Road in San Juan, the Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna, and on levels 1 and 2 of Trincity Mall in Trincity. Sharon's Bookstore is proud to be your local one. Stop shop for all things back to school, helping you with style, savings, and everything school-related all under one roof.
I love you.
The Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches, together with national cultural icon Mr. William Monroe, presents the first ever national concert of choirs, Divine Harmonies, Saturday, December 6, 2025, at the Grandstand, Queen's Park, Savannah. Choirs will be competing for prize money to the tune of $250,000, with the winner walking away with the grand prize of $100,000. We invite all church choirs nationwide to participate in this spiritual, cultural, and musical richness that will bring upliftment to our nation and redound to the glory of God. Tickets will be available August 15 from Maranatha Bookstore and outlets of the Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches. For more information, call 719-9599 or 497-0361. Divine Harmonies, ushering in the glory of God. This is Apostle Anthony Golson, and I'm inviting you to be there.
This Java, get ready to chase the crunch with KFC. Dip it, dunk it, and drip it with our juiciest chicken tenders ever for as low as $29.95.
It's Java, it's summertime. KFC makes it all come alive. Big limestone into big appetite. It's the beach with KFC. Yeah.
Choose our hot and spicy or extra crispy non-spicy tenders and dip, dunk, and drip into our flavorful sauces, Java style.
To the spice of the summer, let's go.
So, chase the crunch and make Java finger-licking good with KFC.
The Street 919 FM is here to help our community. We know that back-to-school season can be a financial strain, so we're giving back with our Each One Help One Part 2 giveaway. We're giving away one $500 voucher for back-to-school supplies and plenty of consolation prizes. Here's how to enter. Every day at 3 p.m. after the ads, we'll take our first 3 callers. You must start your call with the special access phrase, Each One Help One Part 2. To be eligible, nominate someone in need by giving us their name. We will draw the winners live on Tuesday, September 2nd at 3 p.m. on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Get ready to call and help us make a difference.
Coach, yes, Coach, are you passionate about serving others and supporting people as they reach the highest version of themselves? My name is Jesse McBarrow, and I've been able to earn a living as a life coach serving people all around the world, and so can you. Are you ready to be internationally certified? Enroll today for this program and learn everything that you need to know about being a professional life coach. Listen, there are payment plans available as well too, so see you in class.
For registration, contact the Institute of Health and Fitness at 336-4935. Light up your weekends at Vibes Nightclub, Tobago's hottest spot. 3 epic nights of music and energy await every Thursday. Karaoke Thursdays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Grab the mic, unleash your inner star, and sing all night. Beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and giveaways for the best singers. Every Friday, Limers Fridays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Vibes with your crew and enjoy beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and 2 White Oak for $25. Every Saturday, Raw Saturdays. Everything goes, nothing but good vibes. Free entry and an all-star DJ cast to bring the vibes. Vibes Nightclub is where Tobago shines. Join us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for music, fun, and unforgettable nights. Don't miss out. Your weekend starts at Vibes.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Planning your Tobago getaway? Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago, the easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
Are you tired of scratching the surface? Do you want to understand the real forces shaping Trinidad and Tobago? From the delicate dance of our energy sector on the global stage, to the geopolitical shadows behind the crime affecting our streets, we dig deeper. The third umpire goes beyond the headlines. We connect the dots between local challenges and the international currents that truly impact your life, your wallet, your security. Join Stephen Matheson, Selvin Mitchell, and Ronaldo Rollux, 3 employment law and human resource management consulting professionals, as they unpack the complexities, analyze the power plays, and reveal the often hidden realities. Understand the game. Understand your role in it. The third umpire, critically analyzing Trinidad and Tobago's economic and political realities on how they affect your daily lives. Tune in Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. on The Street 919 FM. Don't just listen to the news. Understand it.
So line up, link up, creep up, rock and come in. It's all about the fastest growing reggae show in the land without a doubt. Reggae Rock Sundays on the Street 919 FM with yours truly, MC Duke and Selector Kochi on the ones and twos. So make it a date and don't be late. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. right here on the Street 919 FM. Got 'em our way, King Selassie.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yeah. Yes, callers, we are back. And maybe you can call in and chime in this on the discussion. We've been talking a lot about, we're viewing you also on our YouTube Live. And I'm looking at a comment here that talks about the wisdom of what would you say to this caller here? This London, this person from London who
Nicola Hitchin.
Yes, Nicola Ross Hitchin. She's given some unique incentives. If she wants to know how to get involved, I will say contact the Innovation Association of Trinidad and Tobago. There's a page on LinkedIn as well as a page on Facebook. Message that group and you take it from there how to get involved in improving technology innovation in the country, because we need to link with our diaspora because they have knowledge and skills that could be leveraged and networks that could be leveraged to improve the sweet nation of ours.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the third umpires, and today we are talking a lot about innovation. We're talking about the need for a particular kind of change in Trinidad and Tobago. we spoke a lot about the prison, the penal system, and the challenges with the penal system, and how we could monetize the system, especially when we look at the amount of money we expend in taking care of it. So a number of things we've unpacked here today, and we want to hear your comments. What do you have to say about what we are discussing today?
But I say we are in exciting times in the history of the world. When exciting times. Think of in the early 1900s when electricity was just introduced. Think of when in the 1960s, 70s when the computer just started to emerge. That's where we are now in the realm of history. A lot of chaos, a lot of disruption, a lot of change, but a lot of opportunity. And when you read the United Nations Technology and Innovation Report 2025, it says that the artificial intelligence and robotics, I think it already generated like $23 trillion in wealth in 2023 alone. And they expect it to increase sixfold to 100 and however how much.
Just now wars will not be fought with real men. You have robots. You have
that's great. That's right.
Self-driven tanks.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. I see in Europe, or that's the developing them. Russia already has them.
Wow. Exactly.
China is big on that.
And whoever's manufacturing those robots and AI is going to be filthy rich.
So those things will destroy your country, but less people may die in terms of fighting war.
Yes.
People fighting war like you do it on computers now, Star Wars, that kind of thing. So I mean, that is where it has gone, and we still thinking about digging hole and planting bananas and
cutting grass.
And that kind of thing.
When countries are doing it mass, they're using the technology to do the planting.
But COVID, one of the good things about COVID, you say with every bad thing, something good, you should be able to learn something major from it. COVID taught us a lot of things. The only thing we didn't take a lesson by.
Yeah.
100%.
We went back to the old way of doing things as soon as COVID
the old way of doing things.
I keep thinking about that remote working policy that the last government was talking about. There was no movement on that since.
Well, our system doesn't facilitate it too much, Simoya.
No, I understand what I'm saying.
We talk a lot about the human capital management system and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And clearly, even our legislation doesn't support some of these things.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
It doesn't support how we do it. It doesn't speak to it. And I have always said that, since about 25, 30 years ago, all the persons, probably with the exception of the last one, before this one, who would have sat as ministers of labor were persons who came from the belly of the trade union movement. Right?
And
we still have an archaic IRA
yes.
that does not work for the employer. It doesn't work for the worker either.
Yes.
So it has no way of mitigating industrial peace. And that is a big problem. I mean, for some reason nobody has seen it, but productivity is what runs the world.
Correct.
That is it.
Correct.
And we're not seeing that for some reason. It's too difficult for them to see.
Yeah. And I wonder if anyone tries to change it, if they may end up in the professional graveyard of sorts.
Well,
I can imagine the fights.
I don't think so. At this time, the country need a different kind of thinking. Clearly. I have some confidence in the Baton side.
Okay.
The reason, because I listen to what they're saying now, and I'm waiting to see what will happen probably a year down the road. Right? We have a budget coming up in the next month or so. And I want to see what they are going to put forward. I'm waiting with a bated breath, just like many of us waiting with a bated, not just agriculture, but other things that will diversify Trinidad and Tobago, and will help the people, will bring the people together to solve some of our problems. I am waiting patiently to see how we deal with those things.
I wait with bated breath.
And I know most of Trinidad and Tobago waiting also, right? Because it can't be the same old government come, government go, and every time government come, the same thing happen. They change the people, different group come in and they do the same thing, and it can't be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has some kind of change.
Yeah.
Some kind of change in that.
And the times require that type of change.
Yeah.
I like to call my numbers.
Which is why I would say every day that, I have a serious problem with the opposition. Because for some reason they don't seem to be thinking, hey, the things I hear all they're talking about, all they're talking about, all they're still in the 60s, but all they're get with the time. Things changing, the thing all they're advocating, the things all they're fighting, all they're making much sense. People, all they must know why all was voted out.
Yeah.
And try to correct that. For the first time, I see they're in opposition and I don't know why they're in opposition. That's a funny thing.
Well, if your systems were designed for times where everything was stable and all the rules are being thrown out and being changed, and you have to unlearn, and you're not willing to take that process of unlearning, you could end up in a situation like that.
Correct.
Right? And the disruption in the world is being measured. It's the Accenture's Global Disruption Index is now 200% for the last 5 years. You know what it was before? 4%. So from 4% to 200% in change. And I'm telling you, it's going to most likely, with all these wars, got jump to 1,000%. So the old ways of thinking are obsolete. And if you're stuck in the past, you get stuck in irrelevance.
And then we talk a lot about the geopolitics here. Some people still aren't aware of we sleeping, and we're not aware of what's going on while we are asleep and how it's going to affect us.
Yes.
Right? So we need to start to be more conscious about what's going on around us.
Yes.
So that we could plan to deal with it when it happens.
Yeah.
Right? And if we still have people walking around and talking about minimum wage, for instance.
Yeah.
In the US, the place that we measure everything by, we use as our main barometer. Minimum wage employers, though is a competition it's a competition for employees. So minimum wage, you pay minimum wage, you not get any best employees.
Right.
Right? And we still not seeing that, Selvon. You see all the time, if you pay peanuts, you're liable to get monkeys.
Yes.
And the thing is, even employers not even taking that as very serious.
Yeah.
So you're still seeing big employers, multinational companies coming here and making huge amount of profit but want to pay people minimum wage. You're taking advantage of the situation.
That is it. And so Moya had mentioned something about knowledge management in the last segment. And knowledge management is where you want to have a learning organization, information is being shared. But if you're not paying people well, and you're also not treating them well, because that pay that you offering there already says how you're going to treat and view and the culture supported, you're going to have your organization at a competitive disadvantage, because people are going to keep their best ideas to themselves, not put their best foot forward, as you said, that you pay peanuts to get monkeys. Correct. And you will end up losing your competitive advantage. But for some reason, we're just not understanding and seeing that.
Correct. So, Simoya, what do you think we could do to solve some of the problems in terms of the human capital and how we develop our human capital? You are an HR expert also. What was your opinion on that?
I am saying I think we need to embrace knowledge management, because when we think about it, we have a lot of people exiting the workforce every year, retirement or otherwise, and the information is not being retained. Organizations are still suffering from that. When people leave, all the institutional knowledge is gone. So what is happening there? What exactly are we doing?
For the persons listening, maybe you all could probably elucidate a little bit about what is knowledge management and how knowledge management could be one of the catalysts to change our reality.
Yeah. What knowledge management is thing with knowledge. First thing, knowledge is all over, especially due to ChatGPT. And knowledge is something that if you choose not to share it with someone, they would never know.
Correct.
They would never know. So you want, and for you to have for you to have a situation where everyone is willing to share information, share their what they call the tacit knowledge, things that they can't read from in a book. You have to have the right culture environment. As the old Rastas say, spread a little love, let your blessings go round. You want to have that type of loving environment where people feel safe, they have psychological safety, right? Because without that, people are not going to put their best foot forward, and they're not going to share that knowledge to improve the different systems and processes that you may have within an organization.
So it really comes back to that whole understanding that even businesses, even every single person around any system to understand how maybe you need to come together, right? And every time I say these things, I like to bring the politics, because you know the show is the Third Empire, and
the Third Empire,
it's a cricket show.
Yeah.
And we have to remind people that we have a batting side and a feeling side.
Yes.
One is the government, one is the opposition. But sometimes, very often, we talk about how we could fix Trinidad and Tobago. And you talk in knowledge management. And some of the hindrance to that is the politics. Right? And if, for instance, I was just saying the opposition seemed not to know why they lost the elections. Right? And if in my opinion they were sensible, I would try to work with the government to fix Trinidad and Tobago in a certain kind of way, and not see it as a bad thing among themselves, as among the own diaspora. Because if we do that, the government will look good, and
So
we will look bad.
Nation first.
For Pete's sake.
Yeah.
So let me look at nation first. Right? And if you look at nation first, brother, all of us, listen, I was supporting them and I used to support them. I think all of us used to support them. Right? But people realizing, hey, you're stuck in the 60s still. Or you need to get out of it.
It's a new world, a new age. It's the
new
fourth
realities.
industrial revolution. The rules are changing.
I think with respect to the last government, I remember Dr. Rowley making that call for the best and brightest, but I don't think they appreciated really
I don't think they wanted the best and brightest.
So that's what I'm saying. They didn't quite appreciate what the best and brightest had to offer, because we have a lot of people who have quite a lot of solutions, but then we had a sort of, I don't want to say old, but information that couldn't really be applied to the modern world. Let me say it that way without being.
So
and
they
now
never
we
see
have
knowledge
this
management.
government.
They try to keep that in a particular,
Stephen, the youth
circle.
officer was in his 50s. I'm sorry to say it. Why was this gentleman the youth officer when there are young, educated people within the party who would have been able to take the party forward? That's all I have to say. So now you have this government, you can't criticize Auntie Cams because she's actually doing it. There's a Ministry of AI.
But it's the young people who push in office too.
And that's the point that I'm making, that they
people
have
move away from that
embraced
kind of thing.
what the young people have to offer.
You see that kind of separatist, that kind of racist, that kind of everything.
They have broken
They
away
move
from
away
their
from
own
that
racist party politics.
yeah.
And that's the point. So if you want the best and the brightest, you have to embrace what they offer.
So this is why I'm saying the buttons, the feeling side, they understand why they're feeling. Them you understand why the out, the bad, the wicked, and the on the other side now. Because if you understood that, all what we say in here, really, you would embrace that as serious.
You know, that's a touchy knowledge management, and I mean, touch the point that you're talking about there. I remember when one of my first jobs, I was a trainee, so I had to go to different departments. And in one department, the person was an authoritarian. We do what I say we do, right? And you couldn't, any ideas you had, keep it to yourself. Productivity low. Went to another department. What did the first thing manager says? What ideas do you have? I said, what is this? When they go downstairs, everybody's sharing information. That was the highest performing department. Correct. Right?
And that is...
And that style of communication made everyone more productive, share information, and everyone benefited.
My boy was making that point when a couple of weeks ago on the program, Selvon. He was saying, I mean, if you had get Jackie jacket, look at what the Baton side was doing in regards to the budget consultations. They went to every single. There wasn't like having no meeting at no Jumenam Junction and no but that's that people in red and all that kind of thing. They go in every single constituency, every single community. We want to hear what it is you want. How you want to see Trinidad and Tobago move. There are a lot of people, I mean, out of necessity, will talk about jobs and that kind of thing. But jobs will come if you have a productive society, if you have a productive environment, if you have all the enabling facilities and infrastructure to be able to be productive, because productivity is not just people working in the workplace and producing more per capita. Productivity have to do with some other macroeconomic factors like the road condition, the ability to get to work, the ease of doing business, all those things. All those things are things that has to be addressed in a certain kind of way, and it has to be addressed quick. If you want to, of all those indices you looked at, you want to fix that, you want to rise on those indices, you have to address the more important things in Trinidad and Tobago to be able to do that.
But I'm hoping that there's an innovation champion somewhere in this administration. Seems like there may be.
Well, Dominic, I mean,
you
know Dominic, right?
I know, but he's the artificial intelligence and innovation person. So I expect some in this budget, some dynamic things coming out of him for this.
Right. Let me take Mr. President. Mr. President.
Oh gosh. Yeah, boy. My frequency well bad up by my side, and so when I hear getting, yeah, boy. So. Well, from down all the road there, you're talking good. You even said you at one point when you say you had to get all the people to be on board. All of that is the key. All you're talking and I'm listening well because guys are old school and I know it's just now I'm going out. I've given all you the clues that I see.
You're on the runway. You're on the runway. You're on the tarmac. You're on the runway. You're on the tarmac.
Yeah, I just examining. I examining and listening the things that making sense in a real way, in a truth way. Because most of this society, to say things like most of us mind dumb to progress. I'll put it that way, I say most of us mind dumb to progress. Because that continual colonial stagnation that we live in. You was talking about from the education system. Like that's why I tell you the 12, and I think all you had the 12, I don't want to go through it now. But it border everything that the education. I told you something sometime, WI too small. WI is supposed to be dealing with every subject matter mentally and physically to everyone. So that of all the industries, of all the 12, and of all the ministries, they will be pushing out people to deal with it, and all of them going to be having employment because all of them will be necessary to have workers. So it's a whole network of a system that I got from Papa God here shut in my mind and be alone by myself thinking, well, putting out to the world what is the truth. Just like I was him Torah changing, he is changing the place. But if we don't see the change, then we stay in the colonialism, and what the breaks in from is that. You see what I said?
Got you.
Right, so all you have to wake up, What we have as a government system, what we call as a parliament. You see that parliament, if we don't have an organization that we could put 12 inside of the parliament to concern with survival, they will keep doing. The PM, let me start to put on the feeling side. The feeling side had a lot of time. They are colonialism of the pyramid. That is why they're out. We put them out because we want to change the colonial 1% ideology. And don't be they're going away. They will be there because they are still the 1%. So if the next side, now which is the bottom side, and I know for some talk, I talk with plenty already, that is the white people, they don't like. So what they're doing is they will, but we don't know the power of the rule
everywhere we have some white, some 1% who going on their side and not studying nationality.
So
we have to be very careful. I say only bright, only fine people. Somebody called from states just now and say they want to be find plenty of them, 12 of them, and see if we get powerful people for our organization of the people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Right, nice.
Right. You take this call. Good evening, caller.
Right, nice.
Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
So many things that you all speak about to comment on. In our environment here, we function within the Westminster system. We are a Republican state, but we still operate more of a democratic state. And in doing so now, we're looking at how do we change the system that we have. And changing the system comes with a culture change. And we also need now, in that culture change, now, how do we grow with finances now? Facilitate all the things that you all speak about. And how do we change the society to become more productive? And while we're looking at technology, we're talking about AI and robotics taking over, how would that relate to the human capital and how does that affect the human capital? And then where do we go from here? Because if all of us have a PhD, we will be PhD people in the road, doing all these small jobs and all small stuff. So the education system just now enables us now to understand better. But the system remains the same. So let me look at salaries, for example. We're talking about a minimum wage. If we lower the cost of living, what should be minimum wage be? And how do we now look at that as it reflects the finances and what we work? Let me offer a little example. Donald Trump take over America and he closed the southern border without changing the laws. And he did what he had to do in many different ways. We may not like the manner in which he do it, but he accomplished that. The same thing has happened now in what we do to the third world countries. And third world is based on development. But we as human beings and our minds are first world. We come listen to you all and the intellectual capacity that you are exposing here tells us that we are first world. We just operate in an environment that does not allow us to really express ourselves the way that we should. So there are many things and many factors that we have to look at. But until we don't have that culture change, that tells us now that we need to be more productive and look at other people. You all talk about crime earlier and also about the rehabilitation process and a person serves the time and we should now bring them into society. But I wouldn't bring a criminal to work for me. And women or people of our school wouldn't put a pedophile or somebody who is suspected of being a pedophile into that school system. So it has to do with the human psyche. So when we look at things now, the solution that is culture change as it relates to the rest of the world.
But caller, before you go, you know, on that last point you make, you don't think we need you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right. You don't think that culture change maybe should start with us accepting that when a man commit a crime and he do his time and penalized for it and he comes back out, that he needs to live and that maybe in some way he should be accepted back in society?
Yes, I agree.
Huh?
Yeah, but I would ask you, would you genuinely do that?
Well, that is the maturity at which we had to reach. That is the maturity to which we had to reach. Because that might solve so many problems, you know.
This is why we call. Yeah, this is why the culture has to change. It's about culture. It's about nothing else. It's about culture. You know the old adage that children learn what they live. Well, that's happening to the entire society.
Well, I got here. I got here. We have.
Yeah, are you practicing that?
Right. Okay. Thanks.
But you know, this caller started off by saying that, you know, we touch on so many different topics, and he himself in his response touched on so many different topics, and he said something that stood out to me. He said that what will happen if everyone has a PhD? We don't need everyone to have a PhD.
No,
we need at least 100 to 200 people to have PhDs in these new frontier technologies like artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And then relevant. And then we need to have people who have a lot of the skill sets to support it. Because the reason why we're talking about artificial intelligence so much, that is a $23 trillion market. Talking dollars and cents. And it's not just what we're going to do in Trinidad. We could export these services,
23 trillion,
right? Export these products and expect it to grow sixfold in the next 10 years by 2033.
Where are we in that?
Right?
Where are we in that?
If everyone could tap in and provide some sort of service to people in Dubai, living right in Trinidad, Dubai, in Hong Kong, or whatever,
I see that all the time.
Our whole society will be different.
I see that all the time. If we get one patent. And we develop one thing, and one man develop one thing that costs $1 that everybody in the world want, like a cell phone. I'm just saying. You know what will happen.
But that is why
you know that man is an instant trillionaire.
That is it. That is why. But for that to happen, we need at least 100 to 200 PhDs in these areas. Because when you listen to how people operate in Sweden, and you hear the history of certain innovations, it was a regular man who went and filed a patent, a regular guy, but because they had a supporting base of scientists and researchers in place.
Exactly.
You know, and that can make the difference.
So I was talking some time ago about the chip Elon Musk and they have been developing that, and Britain, as a matter of fact, has already given permission for the development and the research to continue. Where they put it in your head, an AI chip, and it activates your brain.
Yes.
To think like think AI. AI, I mean, artificial intelligence interacting with your brain, right? That's where the world going.
Yeah.
We even understand AI yet.
Yes.
That's where the world going.
Yeah.
That is where the world going.
Yeah. And that's your touch base. You say if we just get one patent, you know, in China alone, I think it's every year they register millions of patents. In America every year, just in AI alone, millions of patents. And you say what a patent, people say like, oh, if everybody has a PhD, how are we going to make money? Listen, once you have a patent, you don't actually have to make anything, you know. The person who's making and selling it, they have to give you a 1%, 2% royalty. And in a $23 trillion market, we're talking millions and millions of US dollars.
Because remember, China is the manufacturer of the world.
That's right.
To a large extent. By the way, China is the largest economy today. People, no, not the second, the first. They're going to the first. Right? Yeah, go and check it out. China's going to the first.
Definitely growing and catastrophic, and they're going to continue growing.
Right? So America is now the second.
Yeah.
Right? America is first in military.
Yes, oh for sure.
Right? Okay. And China is second. Russia is third. But Japan is the fourth economy by the fourth.
And that changes, this amount of changes.
India is the as a matter of fact. Right? But the thing is, we have to understand, now while we are a dot, we could produce something, we produce a brand line, we produce a Miss Universe, we produce all that. It's hard to do them things. Right? We have to see ourselves as concentrate, as we said earlier on, Gate, for instance, if you have a system like Gate, you focus that in the line of the development, the strategic development that you want to create for your country. If you do that, you could get something out of it. You could get diamond out of that.
But of course, and the fancy word for islands like us are small island developing states.
Small island.
And there are quite a few examples of small countries that are making trillions and billions of dollars.
Yeah, I go far again. Singapore's one
Oh
of them.
boy, you teeth the country out my mouth. You look at it. Singapore is number one, number five in the world on the Global Innovation Index. I think they're 5 times smaller than Tobago, just to tell you how small they are. But their economy in GDP terms is more than the entire Caribbean combined.
Wow.
Right? So
because I was thinking, by the way,
yeah,
they turn over more shipping containers than we turn out in a year and an hour in Singapore.
Being small could be a strength. Being small could be an agile. But as the caller said, we need to have the right systems in place, the right culture in place.
And one of our problems is our ease of doing business. We have all kind of archaic system. I mean, you purchase even things like you bring in something in the country to help other people, and you have to wait months for it and go through all kind of dotish, unnecessary challenges that really makes no sense.
Right. If our officers don't even have body cams, we want to go so far.
Oh God,
Just saying.
Guys, I mean,
citizens have to take matters into their own hands and put dashboard cams to get evidence for themselves. Seriously. Before we even reach there, we have to fix these simple things.
Police arresting people about body cams and taking them to prison and say they shoot at the police and all that kind of thing.
Exactly.
I mean, that's nothing. It's your word against the police.
So inefficiency is profitable for some people.
Well, yes. Right, but those are simple fix, by the way. Those are very, very simple fix.
To me, honestly, I'm interested to see the budget towards national security. If they make that move towards body cams and stuff, I would be highly
think
impressed.
about it. I mean, we operating anyhow you take it at bare bone in trying to be, unless we want to run a huge deficit budget. But then again, the world is going debt. The world is going in the direction of debt, more and more debt. But unless we want to run a huge budget deficit, the only thing, just the budget alone, a balanced budget will just mean doing expenditure projects all the time. Just paying just paying bills and paying salaries and that kind of thing. That's what it is to me. The thing is, if we really want to change, they don't really have much wiggle room. If you want to have a balanced budget, or if you want to probably do something, you had to really make some serious
change for the growth for the future.
Right, but you had to go out, and I mean, we talked yesterday about China and the Belt and Road Initiative. That is something that we could probably explore here.
Yes.
Because what they will do is that they will come and create the development for you, and you pay for it later, or you pay for it through allowing them to run it for some time, and then. But there are people who may have a problem with that. They will say, well, they do that sound like colonization again. But I mean, you have to think. You have to think about where you want to go. What is the easier way what is the best way to do it? If you change the reality for some people, in terms of how they get to work, in terms of productivity and that kind of thing, then the amount of money you will make with that, right? You can even count it to say to pay back for that. So you shouldn't be thinking about the wrong set of things.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
When you hear about a budget that is a large budget deficit, I mean, America can never pay for the debts. They can print out money, you can never pay the debts. Why are we thinking about that?
Yeah. And you know, just to touch on our budget deficit, I think last year before, our total government budget was like $70 billion. I think that's $30, right? Let's call it, for easy maths, let's call it $10 billion US. And there's a $23 trillion market. So our budget is just a percentage of the money that's
our budget might buy about two of them F-35. Our whole budget buy about 3 or 4 of them F-35.
And so why the conversation is, why are we trying to join the AI economy? And like the Belt and Road Initiative, let them come and we know these are weak areas, come and help us in these areas.
Yeah, develop that and you monetize it, pay yourself from it. Over the years, you make a toll highway or whatever, you pay yourself, and then you give it back to us when we finish. At the end of the day, if it's 20 years, how much we have a highway, we have that, and we didn't pay anything for it.
Yeah.
Simple. Simple maths. The bureaucracy and all that kind of thing is what killing us in Trinidad.
Of course. And as Samoya said, someone is benefiting from that bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Benefiting from that.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. It's just sad that, we give a lot of ideas here.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope that somebody's listening and they take, they condition us or condition the public to think how we thinking.
But if the callers look at the live now, they will notice that my arm is in a sling. Right? I had an incident over the weekend. So I went to the hospital.
Why, man beat you up or something?
No.
You had to be glad listen.
I wish I had such problems.
No.
I wish I had such problems.
I wish just no woman getting gun and thing. It would be no big
sick and thing. Pistol whip and that kind of thing.
Pistol whip.
I bullet to your leg and to cool myself.
You cool yourself, boy.
So I went to the hospital, Port of Spain General Hospital, on Sunday afternoon. I must say, I saw a doctor quickly. There was a long line. But they said, okay, for this injury, we have to do an ultrasound to determine the real extent of the injury. I said, okay, no problem. Oh, we can't do it tonight. Okay, they said, come tomorrow. Now, when I have to return tomorrow, not to do the ultrasound, to get book the appointment to get the ultrasound. I said, I can just go on a computer system and just select a slot. And when I went, they gave me 2 weeks later to get the ultrasound to then know what is wrong and what the proper treatment is.
Between now and 2.
Right?
Yeah, when I baby, ultrasound.
Ultrasound. I got some tissue damage, so the ultrasound will allow me to see it. I know. But why is it so archaic? Why is it so slow? And all that money being spent, and that's the level of treatment.
Well, I don't know. A few weeks ago, I was talking with a friend of mine who is still laid up because she got a stroke. It started off as a mild stroke. By the time she reached in the hospital, she stayed there for about 3 hours. All that was still within the time.
Yes.
To get an MRI.
And a stroke is something you have to deal with immediately.
Yes. Get an MRI one time. And then they tried to take her in to get the MRI. And as they took her in, I think the next day we went back and they told her that she didn't do the MRI.
See?
And when we heard the reason why she didn't get the MRI, it was because the escort that usually lift the patient up to put them in the MRI machine, they said she was too heavy. Yeah. That was the reason. And this is written there. So the doctors were complaining. The doctors said, well, this is madness. They waited about 4 days before that lady got MRI.
Wow.
By that time, the car didn't do anything.
Died by
now, the thing with the MRI, but she got seizure, she got all kind of thing in that time.
In those 4 days.
The thing with the MRI, if you get a stroke, this is something I learned. I learned after I went and researched it. There's a period by which after getting the stroke that if they don't deal with you, you could either have life. You could either have damages for life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So an MRI will tell if it's a bleeding in your brain or if it is a clot.
Yeah. Right. So they know how to treat you.
Both of them are treated differently.
Wow.
So you can't just go and treat a patient just like that who suffer a stroke without doing an MRI.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? But you have to do it within a particular time. And you see, so tell me if that, from a legal standpoint, that certainly is. That's a thought. That's
negligence.
That's negligence.
Yes.
Right? But I don't know. I don't know. That's the state at which we reach in the hospital.
Yeah.
But like with everything else, that is how we still operate in this archaic, kind of nonchalant kind of attitude towards everything in China. It's not just health, education, everything.
Everything,
When they're going through in reaching hospital, they have to go through triage all over again. Why don't we have systems where we can put people's records and their data?
Exactly. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, caller. Good evening, caller. It's evening now. Caller?
Good evening to all on the panel. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay. No, I just tuned in and I saw you were speaking about the stroke victim. But I can't understand. You see, the people who carries in who go with a patient is responsible a lot of times, I think. Right? What I mean responsible, I am not leaving my patient until if they have to get an MRI, until they get an MRI. If I have to bring my bed and pillow, and I do that. If I go in the hospital with you and you are my brother, whatever, I am in charge of you, I am not taking, I tell people, the hospital is your own. The only place I really own here, besides the grave or whatever it is the hospital and the jail. That's your own. That's paid by the government. That's paid by the people. And I find people leave. How you could say, why didn't she get the MRI? Why? I can't. And even if they say, I would have lifted her up and say, okay, four of us going to lift her up. But of course, how she got it 4 days after?
Unfortunately,
as 4 days after.
Unfortunately, you don't get to go in them kind of areas in the hospital, right? So
what?
You don't get to go in them. Have you ever been to the hospital with a stroke patient?
Excuse me, I'm telling you. That's why I'm telling you. I don't leave.
Sorry, I personally didn't know you then. Sorry, I personally didn't know you then.
So you could not, even if you couldn't go in the MRI, right? You remember you're not going there because they say you said they didn't get it, or they say they don't.
They don't allow you to do that. And at this in Mount Hope, you don't get to go in there in that area with
I only know Mount
relative
Hope.
or so.
I only know Mount Hope.
Right? Well, Mount Hope are talking about.
That is funny. That sounds very funny to me. But people, I am not leaving nobody on if they say they have to get an MRI. I'm staying outside if I have to stay outside, but I am not leaving that hospital until. Why they're not giving it? And how they give it 4 days after? That lady could have died between when you were standing up there.
As a matter of fact, she suffered permanent damage. Because she's still bedridden.
Yeah.
I know people who had that same thing walk out the next day.
Right, but how they lift her up to do the next day, the 2 after how many days after?
I don't know.
I
don't know. That is the hospital will have to answer that. But I'm just saying what happened, what I experienced.
The hospital will have had, and let me tell you something. I don't know if it changed for a couple of years, but I pick up. There are phones all over the hospital for the patient for you to use. Hang up on the wall for you to call, not your people, and not your people outside, to call the doctor, call anybody you want to call on that phone. And I pick up my phone. Anything happen. Plus, there's there's an area you go to find out questions and things. What they call that? Somewhere should be able to tell me
the trial section.
Not the human resource. Huh?
Yeah, it's about area you go, but that's an area that's open in the daytime.
And that is my area. Right? And you have to you have to tiptoe with them people, I know. You can't just say, they can't tell you, we're going to do something tomorrow, and you say, okay, go home. I am not leaving a hospital, darling. I tell you, remember, I live in a hospital already.
Really?
What they call it, the people, the security had to come and say, well, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I bathe in the hospital already, dearie, if you know what to do. Right? In the hospital while waiting.
But ma'am, it should not be like that where you have to go above and beyond
to get information,
to get proper things done. That what you're saying there is part of the problem. You with your tenacity and boldness, you were able to push through and fight through for your family members. But not everyone is able to do so.
But they're not supposed to get on so nice. But they are not supposed to get on so to you either. And you're not supposed to take it, even if you might get. I'm not saying at all times they jump and do it. What I'm telling you, if people stand up more, and because they feel, all right, bye-bye.
Security and thing.
Yes.
That's security and thing. Let's put you out of the hospital and thing.
Excuse me, security. Those are joking security. They are security when they like to push their hand, push people around.
No, they'll call the police.
Well, right. No, we call police. But here as entertain police, police.
So what the police will come and tell them? Give the woman the MRI? Nah, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. In the hospital, no, it don't work like that.
No, I'm not talking about the MRI. When you say how do you like the security, sometimes you can't find a security when they really need a security. But anyway, I don't want to hear these kind of things happening to people because that lady could have been a dead lady today.
Yeah. I mean, it's just sad. But these things do happen in Trinidad and Tobago.
You have to say thank God that
in 2025, these things still happen.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a lot of argument that, the hospitals do have the resources, and quite frankly, it is very expensive to run a free healthcare system like Trinidad and Tobago.
Resources so much.
Right? So, we listen to your offer. You can listen to us offer. It's very expensive to run, hospital systems and that kind of thing. But I have put forward on this program, and maybe I could say it again in the last few minutes. We eat the things that give us stroke and heart attack and diabetes and that kind of thing. And things we we shouldn't be eating.
Yes.
And a lot of people know that. But they still eat it. Right? And I think we should start taking responsibility. So just like a tax cigarette and alcohol, make it very expensive. Make them thing I make us drink $300. And a pack of Conkles, about $80 for that.
Yeah. You wanna buy $40, you say $40 last week.
So the manufacturer make $2 and the government make the rest.
Yes, yeah.
And put that back in the hospital system. So when you're sick self come in the hospital, you get taken care of free.
That is it.
Because you pay for it up front. I just say, if you're doing it with alcohol and cigarette already, you should be able to do it with that.
That is true. But that's why we need to get tap into the $20 trillion AI economy so everybody can afford it.
Well, that's true.
But your diet is really important to your health. And people don't really consider that. And some people make the argument that it's more expensive. It's cheaper, to buy the unhealthy food, and that's why your approach will work wonders.
Really and truly, it's not.
Yeah.
Really, and you know what? If you go in the market, 11:30 on a Sunday, you get everything for $1. I just saying.
Because they're looking to go home.
They want to go home. Yes. They want to stay with that thing. I just saying.
Yes.
But the thing is, and that, I mean, don't take me literal.
No, yeah.
But those things are real.
Yeah.
And the healthy things not really expensive. That's a myth. People just don't understand what is healthy and what is not healthy. Right? Because you still calling the things that you think are real expensive, like smoke heroin and all them things, healthy. Them things are healthy.
Yeah, true.
Go on the jetty and buy a fish. Go and don't necessarily go in the market to buy them things. Go and buy it with fresh weight now come from. That's where it's go.
But even then going to the Port of Spain market, if you go there, if you have the time, you go there
like...
the
Port of Spain market, brother.
Go
down to the back of sea lot something and buy a fish in the morning.
Trying to get a bit shut up.
No. That is a myth. I just say it. I mean, I can tell you.
Yeah. But I know some people go there and they get things at a good price.
Get fish off the boat, right? But ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to unpack tomorrow again. We will be leaving you now in the next few seconds. And we are happy that you would have joined us with our good friend, our AI innovation expert, and Simoya. We look forward to seeing you or hearing from you tomorrow. We are now leaving you. Have a good evening.
To 8:55 a.m. for the program God's Last Warning Message. Hosea chapter 4 says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the Lord